Schedule 1. A game that, to be honest, looks like any other business manager simulation game with nothing much to it at first glance. At least I thought so when I first visited the Steam page. I thought the game was overhyped because of streamers playing it, and it wouldn't be able to keep me entertained for long. I was wrong. This review is going to be one that's a bit on the shorter side than usual, as it is a small indie developed early access game, so it's quite small for now, which by no means equals a bad game, as I really did like it. But for those of you who are still trying to decide whether to buy it or not, let's get straight to the review and start looking at what Schedule 1 does good. My first point is going to be the setting. So Schedule 1 is, as mentioned, what I would classify as being a business manager simulation game. Is it realistic? Hell no, I mean, look at it. Goofy and funny? Yes sir. But not only is it a fun game, it's also a good one. First, let's look at the business manager game genre. To be fair, I don't like it. They're usually mundane and boring, but Schedule 1 is a fun take on the business manager genre. Here you are, well, making and dealing drugs.
I was a businessman doing business.
Which is a fun approach to the business manager genre.
Yes, science!
But it's not the approach that makes Schedule 1 good. It's how well thought out and made the game is. At first, Schedule 1 might seem shallow, until you realize that the world feels kind of alive. All the different NPCs have their own lives and routines. Throughout the day they will go to different places, making the otherwise very small map feel very alive and not static. Some of the characters even have jobs. They might be high all the time while working because of you, but you know, they have jobs. But the fact that you can follow them to and from work, not in a weird way, makes the characters you have as customers feel very alive and adds a nice detail to the world building. I also like how you have a chance of getting jumped by a rival cartel, again making the map feel more alive than in many other business manager games. Allegedly, you can also be caught and arrested by the police if they see you dealing or you get into a fight. But I don't have any footage of this happening, as they would never catch me. So even though the game is goofy, it still takes itself somewhat serious when it comes to portraying dealing drugs. Next up, let's look at the gameplay. In the early game, you have to make the drugs and sell them yourself. This means growing, mixing and packaging them by hand. And to be honest, the early game is what I enjoy the most about Schedule 1. For some reason, it's kinda cozy and fun to try and make weird mixes and sell them to customers just to see what they do, while trying to bargain for a good price. So how it all works is, you can make 3 different base products. For now, a 4th is coming to the game. But after creating your base product, whether that be weed, meth, or the caviar of the drugs, cocaine, you can then mix these with various items to make more potent products that has side effects to them. This mechanic is one of the things that kept me in the game for so long, to be honest. I think it's fun to mix the most wacky stuff and give it to customers to see how they will react. I mean, you can literally make them shit themselves. And this mixing system, together with how alive the game feels, is what kept it fun and not repetitive for me, especially in the early to mid game. And after that, it was because my monkey brain could see the green number go up in the start menu. And you know, if you don't go for the 10 million achievement, you're a filthy casual. But yeah, jokes aside, the game isn't so repetitive, as long as you don't play like a sweat and only make one god tier mix and then only sell that one mix. I mean, at that point you're just ruining it for yourself.
You're just ruining it!
Schedule 1 doesn't only offer selling drugs, you can gamble your entire net worth away at the casino. Just remember, you only really lost once you fully quit. Next game will be the one. Schedule 1 also has some cars you can drive around in, and yeah, they are just as goofy as the rest of the game. But the cars are nice for multiple reasons, because you can either run around and ask people if they want to buy something, which I find the most fun, or you can sell it over the phone. The customers will then wait at a certain spot around the city, and this is where the cars come in really handy, as you can now travel to these spots faster, you know, like in real life. Why am I explaining how a car works? Anyways, especially the van is also a really good method for restocking. But the most enjoyable thing about the entire gameplay is how the game commits to its setting. It's goofy and it's on purpose.
He needs some milk!
Everything is goofy, just from the effects the customers experience from your product to the graphics of the game, but also how you can send cars flying by standing on them, send people flying by splattering them with a baseball bat. And much more. Schedule 1 understands that if you try and cater to everyone, you cater to no one. So it has chosen to go all out on being goofy while still being authentic to its setting. But now that we're already talking about gameplay, let's head over to the co-op. The co-op is, to be fair, really good. It's easy to join each other by using Steam to join friends. And once you actually play together, the game is fully multiplayer compatible. You will be able to play together all throughout your playthrough. Nothing about one player getting removed from the game here and there. The host and all other players are equal in terms of, for example, telling employees what to do. And the co-op does make the game much more fun and really helps the game not become repetitive, especially in the later stages, as you are now more players who can help with restocking, so there still is time to deal yourself. So I really do recommend playing with a friend or two, because the game does kinda become a restocking simulator, but we will talk more about that later. Next, I want to talk about something that is very rare these days. There are no microtransactions. Can you believe it? No skins, no maps, no monetization of the game after you've paid the initial price of $19. It is so refreshing to not have 19 battle passes and 800 skins advertised the second you hit the main menu. And this leads me to my next positive point, the development of Schedule 1. Updates are rolling out at a decent pace, but the thing I enjoy the most is that they are community voted, so the developer will put up 3 options and the player base can vote which one they want, meaning the developer is actually listening to their audience and not just freeballing it. This is crazy news. The game does also have a lot of bugs, but it seems from the patch notes that these are also of high priority for the developer. So yeah, it's rare that you see a developer actually listening to their players, so it's nice for a change. So next, let's look at the not so pretty parts of Schedule 1. I honestly don't have that many complaints about Schedule 1, as I overall think it is a good game. And I think the things I find annoying are very fixable. And as a quick little disclaimer, I know the game is early access, but I still judge the game from what I get the moment of purchase and not what it could be in the future. My first complaint is about the earlier mentioned bugs. And yes, it is in early access, so I obviously expected some bugs, and Schedule 1 sure has a lot of bugs. Most of them are minor though, like your dealers not being able to pathfind to their customers and getting stuck right beside them and so on. And honestly, these small bugs don't bother me that much. It's early access after all, I kind of expected it, and the game is only $20, so my expectations weren't that high in the first place. What however does bother me is game-breaking bugs. And these do sadly happen a lot in the multiplayer from my experience. I've had our items get duplicated. Sometimes the non-host player actions would not be saved properly. But by far the worst that has led me and my friends to start over again and again is us all of a sudden not being able to join each other again. And it really sucks losing like 40 hours of gameplay because you're unable to escape the loading screen, resulting in you having to make a new map so you can start over again, because from my experience this problem was tied to the map. Next is about the game's optimization. The game doesn't look bad at all, but neither is it the most stunning graphics. The world is also small, so I feel it should be able to run smoothly. I sometimes drop below 40 frames in the late game when you have many employees running around, and when just being in the city I could still feel frame drops. But again, it's a game in early access, so it might get better in due time, but just have in mind if you buy the game today, it's not that well optimized. And my last complaint is about the repetitive late game, because at the end of the game you're pretty much just playing a restocking simulator. You don't really have time to deal yourself, so you leave that to your dealers, same way you leave making product to other employees. And this is where you really can feel the game is a business manager game, and I don't like that because I personally find it boring. But I mean, if you like those games, then sure, sure that's not gonna be a problem for you at all, but I don't like them. So let's head to the conclusion. Even though I don't have many complaints about the game, and those I do have are minor, I will still only give it a 8 out of 10. One of the areas the game needs to improve in order to be a 9 or 10 out of 10 is the lack of content, as it can get repetitive right now because there is very little amount of content. But you know, as mentioned, more is already coming to the game, but still, if you buy it right now, there is some lack of content. And just to be clear, this is meant for the late game. I actually think the game has decent content in the early to mid game stage. And then, you know, they also have to improve on the amount of game breaking bugs. I'm sure the game will mature into a state where these bugs aren't around, but for now they are, meaning it deducts some points for me. So while editing this video, the Halloween event dropped, in which multiplayer connection issues are addressed. As you can see in the patch notes I also showed a picture of earlier. So when I say there is a connection issue, take that with a grain of salt, as that might be fixed now. I just haven't had the time to play the update myself, so I'm unsure. Please let me know down below if you have tried the update and if the issues are gone. But I mean, yeah, these summarize all my problems with the game. And if they're fixed and the game keeps getting updated without the retail price going through the roof, I'm sure the game will be at least a 9 out of 10 or even a 10 out of 10 in the future. But for now, I'll only rate it 8 out of 10, which is still a really good rating, and the game is definitely worth a purchase, especially if you like business manager games or simulation games, as it's fairly cheap at just around $20. Anyways, if you're still watching, thank you for making it this far. I really appreciate you watching, and if you liked the video, please give it a like, as that does help out my channel a lot. If you disagree with my review of Schedule 1, please let me know below, as I would love to see what you feel about Schedule 1. Anyways, I will see you next time, and thank you for watching. And remember, never spend your hard-earned cash on greedy, unappreciating game studios.